Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Some months ago, I received some requests to do a video talking about some of the products and things that have been most helpful to me as a mother, as a new mom, and then some things that were not so helpful. And so I figured that, she's 6 months now. I wanted to kind of wait till I got to a good point with that, where I've had enough kind of time with certain things to kind of discuss them. So I figured at 6 months, she is halfway through the first year of her life. Goodness, where has time gone? So I just figured that maybe I would just do like a 6-month essential video. So that's what today's video is gonna be. So if you're interested, keep watching. So the first thing though that I wanna kind of put out there that has been really helpful, we've actually used this since the beginning, was a good tracker app. So if you are a new mother, a new mom, or an expectant mom, I really suggest and recommend that you use a good tracker app. I use, the one we use is called Baby Tracker. And it has like a little green stroller, I believe, as the icon, but it's really good. You can record all of your feedings. If you breastfeed, so you just click on the little bottle icon. If you breastfeed, you can click on the button for either left breast or right breast. And if you bottle feed, you can click on the one for bottle, and also you can do the one for a meal too. So as they get older. And actually, since we've been feeding Giselle solids, we can use that one as well now too. So it's really simple to use, very user friendly, and it's just been really good and it's helped us to keep track of what we're doing. You can record, like I said, feedings, diaper changes. You can record playtime. That can include tummy time or any other activity that they're doing when they're playing. You can record their sleep and all sorts of other things. It not only, once you put in, like even for the diaper changes, you can either put in whether it was pee or poo or both, and then and everything happens with just the click of a button. For the feedings, you click start, and then the timer starts, and then as soon as you finish, you just click finish and you're done, and it's recorded. It kind of records it in a linear type format, and in between each one it actually lets you know how long in between each action has happened, so you really get a good idea. Same thing with the diaper changes, it does the same thing, kind of records it in a linear type format, so that and in between each one it tells you how long it was in between. So that's been really helpful, especially for James too, because like when he does one of those things, if he changes her or feeds her, then he can just very easily tell me like, okay, this is how much I gave her. This is, because you can record how much. Oh, and then you can also put in your pumping. So I use that too. I use that feature as well. You can track your the pumping, and it does all of the same things. Press the start button, whether you're pumping the left, the right, or both, and then once you finish, click the button. So everything is really simple on this tracker app. So I would actually recommend. That was a big that has been and still is a very helpful. It keeps me on track. It's been just a very helpful tool. Okay, so the other thing, as far as like tracking sort of products, a baby monitor. For me and James, it's actually been really helpful, because one of the things that I mentioned this in my 5-month update video with her, that I really enjoyed co-sleeping. When we were doing that, one of the main reasons why I enjoyed co-sleeping was because at any given point throughout the night, I could just wake up and just look right over at her and make sure she's okay, and it just was very comforting for me to know that she was so close to me, and knowing that, hey, I could just keep an eye on her at any point while she slept, while we were sleeping throughout the night. And so the baby monitor has just really become, over time, a really important thing for us, since she's been sleeping in her own crib. So every night, I can at any point just look right on the monitor, hear and see what's going on, what's being, what's happening or whatever. And so I can just always still keep an eye on her. And then during the day, same thing. It's just really important. It's been really vital for us not to have, so that because she naps in her crib, in her room, door closed. We have some rain that plays in the background, and you know, and keep that helps her sleep. And we can just keep an eye on her while we're still down here doing, or downstairs doing whatever it is that we need to do. Okay, so let's talk toys. But what I want to mention here that has been actually very helpful for me is that kinds of toys that I've always preferred for Giselle is toys that lend itself to educational and developmental progression. And so everything that I allow, as you all have probably seen in some of our videos, and as well as some pictures that we always post, you've probably seen quite a few of her toys. And so those toys, again, I personally just prefer toys that kind of lend itself to educational and developmental progression. So toys like the activity center. I know you've seen I bought her activity center probably at about a month and a half old. I bought her an activity center because I really wanted her to be able to be on, you know, she was going to be on the floor anyway. So I just wanted her to have something that would help while she's on the floor. And it does, you know, it has these things going across the top, these little animals that you can reach for, little handles that, you know, she can grab onto, balls. The one that I bought comes with balls. And they have all these really bright contrasting color, you know, high contrast colors and really bright colors that help with development even as a small newborn and infant. And so I bought that for her when she was about a month and a half. And so she just started, and even now, to see her now, she's like crawling in and out of it. I mean, she's getting in and out of the thing because she's just really outgrown it already. And activity chair, I bought an activity chair for her at about 2 months, 2 to 2.5. I think it was about 2.5 months when I bought the activity chair. And I think you guys have seen that as well. But it's basically, it's a chair. It comes with the activity table. So on the little table that locks in across her, she's able to, you know, it has a bunch of different activities on it, things that help with her, you know, fine motor skills, that help with, you know, just kind of keeping her entertained as well. And she still loves that thing. She's been using that, like I said, since she's about 2.5 months. And she's pretty much, it has like a piano on it, all kinds of things. So, you know, she has pretty much mastered everything on the table, but she still loves to, you know, get everything going on the table. She likes to move the little Montessori type pieces. You know, she loves to move the pieces across from one side to the other, the little lever that she can pull up and down, those kinds of things. And then she also has a few like Montessori type toys where, you know, they teach her different textures. They have different ways of maneuvering the things on it. And she loves that too. Again, that was a toy she's had that was actually given to us at the baby shower. And so she's had that since before she even got here. And so, you know, she'd been playing with that. I kind of kept that near her for quite some time. So she has a couple of those things. So those are the kinds of toys that I prefer. And I also will note this here. This is just like a tip just something that has just been really helpful for me, because her doctor always makes remarks about how well she's doing, I guess, in a sense. Like she'll say something like, wow, she's already doing this, or, you know, she's doing this already at her age, or whatever, you know. And I'm really proud of that, because I just want her to, you know, advance and do the things that she needs to do. So with that, I'll just leave a tip here for the toy section as for something that has, you know, been helpful and you know, really worked for us. I buy her toys. I always get her toys that's ahead or a little bit older than she is. My tip would be, get toys that are not at the age that your child is, but get toys that are a little bit older than they are. Cause like even now at 6 months, I just recently bought her a toy like a week or two. I mean, like maybe about, I think it's been about a week now. But I just recently bought her a new toy, a few new toys really. But this one of the toys is for a 1-year-old, a 1 to 2 year old. Even though she's 6 months, but she's already beginning to, and so she's been playing with it. At first she kind of looked at it like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. But then like after a couple of days of doing it, and I actually like kind of, cause I practice with her, I'll show her and whatever. But she's already beginning to get the hang of some of the concepts that are on the, the toy. And so, already. And I'm not surprised because babies are smart, and you give them a challenge and they'll rise up to it. It's feeding. So I think, feeding is kind of self-explanatory. But one of the things that I just noted here is a good bottle. My husband, if you haven't seen my husband's video, he did a really, really good job with doing a very in-depth, he went in-depth with the bottles and the one that worked for us and so forth and so on. So if you haven't seen that, I'll, leave that for you to watch. But of course, it goes without saying, a good bottle, whether you're breastfeeding or whether you're formula feeding, either one, a good bottle is essential, is vital to, to them eating. And so, we ended up finding the Comotomo bottle, which worked wonders and still is. And that's the bottle that we use whenever we're feeding her. And so a good bottle is essential and has been essential for us. The other thing with feeding that has been really helpful too is the Boppy pillow. Prior to me beginning to use the Boppy pillow, I was literally holding Giselle to feed her. So every time I would feed her, I would hold her in my arms and then, let her feed. But what was happening was, with her being in my arms and me having to look down at her, it started putting a lot of strain on my neck. And it was like, I had so much tension before you knew it in my neck. And then also because of having to sit in those certain positions, it started putting pressure in no time again on my back, same thing. And so my neck and my back were really, really bothering me, which is very common. And so my doctor one day told me, she said, do you have a Boppy pillow? And I said, yeah, I do actually. She said, and why aren't you using it? And I was like, I don't know. So, but after that conversation, I began immediately using it. And guys or girls, whoever is feeding, let me tell you that Boppy pillow is and was a lifesaver, and it was a game changer, period. I used that. I would sit down. I try to sit in chairs that have back support because I wasn't always doing that all the time. But I wrap it around me, and then I sit her right on top of the pillow. Now the pillow sits her at perfect height. Perfect. She is not too high up, not too far down low. It sits her perfect. So I don't even have to use either of my hands. So when the pillow is wrapped around and she's laying on the pillow, so the pillow is actually supporting her weight, and I don't have to support her weight. I no longer have to support her weight. And so that's tremendously helpful. And so then I could just feed her and then have both my hands free while she's feeding. So the Boppy pillow, guys, it's definitely been a lifesaver and a very, very helpful tool. Okay, now let's talk about books. Books have been another thing. So if you have watched our room tour or our nursery tour, you already know how her nursery looks. You already know, and you've seen her little library, her little small library that we've already began to build for her. And so I started, and Giselle gets read to every single day twice, because I read to her in the morning, read her prayer, and then I read her, a book. And then James reads to her before she goes to bed, because he puts her to bed. What I was learning was that those books, most of those books have like storylines, deep storylines, and they're fun storylines, children appropriate, child appropriate, but they're a little bit advanced for her linguistic understanding right now, because she doesn't. So at 6 months, babies just don't really understand storylines. And so I was losing her attention, but I just so happened to have one book one, y'all, that was actually given to us as a little gift that makes noise. So it's one of the books where as you're reading, you press the button and it'll make the noise that, you know, associates with whatever you're reading. And it's a big book, so it's really short, few words, you know, and so really easy and user friendly. So I found out she loved it. So I was like, oh, so that's the trick. Okay. So I ordered her a few books that, you know, make noise. Because of that, what does become important is noises. So noise, I learned that noises are really important to them. So hey, that is what's grabbing her attention. So for now, I have put the other books with the deep storylines and things kind of to the side a little bit until she gets a little bit older and have a little bit more understanding. And so for now, I use those books. What's been really helpful, the ones that make noise. She loves them, you guys. She loves the little noises. She laughs. She's actually able to turn the pages, you know, and they're hard books too. So I let her turn the pages and then she listens for the noise. So it's to the point now where she kind of knows, like, I know it's coming. What's this noise that's coming? So I could tell she's like expecting it. So she loves it. So those have been really helpful too. One of the things that has been helpful to us is a nail trimmer. Those little nail clipper kit, that was a headache. It started being a headache because first of all, I would have to wait till she was asleep. Because with her like moving and snatching hand and it just, while she was awake, it was just not happening. Nail clipping was just not happening. Until one day, James found on TV or whatever he was researching. Anyway, he came home and he showed me this electric nail trimmer. And I was like, oh, yes. So I ordered one and y'all, yes, okay, yes. Mother approved and kid approved because it's so gentle. It is so super gentle, y'all. So what it is it looks just like the one that you would see in a nail salon, but smaller. And then of course it has the different files, and you know, it'll in the instructions it tells you which color file is for your child's age. So you choose the one that's appropriate to their age. Because of the coarseness of each file, you know, you got to choose the one that's appropriate for your child. And you know, you put that thing on, and I mean, it's not loud, it's very quiet, and it's very super gentle. I mean, super gentle. I haven't gotten one tear from her, and I do it while she's awake, no issues. It's very quick. It makes it really, really quick. It makes it much quicker than trying to sit there and like clip where you feel like, yeah. The nail trimmer is a yes. For me, that has been really helpful, and I'm really glad that we stumbled upon it because I've been using it and I still am using it. While we're on the subject of electric stuff, like after I had so much success with that and I really was impressed with the nail trimmer, the electric nail trimmer, that I felt like I was on a roll. So I ordered this electric aspirator. So yeah, not impressed. At first I had, and I know y'all know what I'm talking about, the suction bulb that has been around for eons. My mama probably had one and her mama probably had one, and no. I would say that was just a waste because, you know, it doesn't, like, it's just so loud, and then, you know, it just, yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. It doesn't, but one thing I will say it does do well is, well, not well, but it does it fairly okay. It at least brings what's in there at least to the front, you know, enough to where, because what I would do is, since it wasn't suctioning it completely out, or even getting it outside of her nose, like I would just at least use it enough. I would just at least try to pull it closer to the front where I could just use the tissue and get the rest of it, you know, and go in for the rest of it myself. Which is just like, I may as well do the whole thing myself. Like, so it was kind of disappointing. So I would have to say no on the aspirator. No. And so the last thing that I will cover here is teething, you know, resources or teething toys. We started off with a teething mitten. So I know you all probably have seen those, the teething mittens where you just kind of put it over their hand and they can gnaw on it. We also tried the teething ring, the one that has fluid in it, and then you can put it in the freezer or either in the refrigerator and get it cold and then give it to them. But I think the issue, so long story short, neither of them, worked satisfactory, was really satisfactory for us. But I think the problem became because Giselle started teething really early. She started by 2 months, she was already teething. She was already beginning to teeth. No teeth had cut yet, but she was already beginning to teeth. She was already showing a lot of signs of all the drooling, all the, you could tell her gums were achy. And and then her doctor even confirmed that she's teething, and she's showing signs of teething, and so she started showing signs so early. I mean, not showing signs, but she started teething so early that I think like maybe her hand was too small for the mitt because it was so big and bulky. Like when we put it on her, even at the tightest we tied it, it was still not really tight enough to where, and then it was so bulky she couldn't even get it in her mouth to even gnaw on it correctly. And so it was kind of like the mitten was useless. So then we tried the teething ring. So we would put it in the refrigerator and we put it in the freezer. And again, it was one of those things, the ring was kind of big. And for her, she was so small. She wasn't really able to get it in her mouth and actually be able to comfortably gnaw on it and for it to actually soothe her. And so neither of those kinds of toys worked because they were just so big and bulky. So we found these other type teething toys, and I'll put them here to show you. But we found these other teething toys. I just went on Amazon one day and was like, okay, because we have to find something that's kind of works for her. And we found these teething toys that are almost like, they remind you of like a lollipop. So they have the stem, a long skinny stem that's very easily able to be grabbed. And then they have the top part which is the teether, which is the part you put in your mouth. And it's so easy to just put it right in her mouth, for her to put it right in her mouth. And they're so cute. They're like fruits. So like one is like a set of grapes, one is a strawberry, one is a watermelon, or orange. And so those have actually been really helpful because, again, she can just put it right in her mouth. It makes it easy for her to kind of gnaw. So that's it, guys. That's all I could come up with right now. But if you have any other questions or you want any other information other than what I gave you, you feel free to let us know. Feel free to comment. Leave us a comment anyway. And if you like this video or if you enjoyed this video, why don't you give us a thumbs up? And if you are not already subscribed to our channel, why don't you consider joining our family? Okay, so until the next video, guys, I will talk to y'all later. Bye.